You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
The options market can be a confusing place. Sorting through the daily avalanche of data, alerts, updates, articles, and analysis to find the most important information is an overwhelming prospect. But now you have help. Welcome to the Options News Rundown, the only program that breaks through the noise to bring you the most important news and information from the world of options. Every day, we bring you the top 5 option stories curated by the options experts at theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in options trading education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's Live Advantage Group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider. And now it's time to break through the noise. It's time for your Options News Rundown.
Good morning. Today is Tuesday, May 7th, 2019. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story of the day is from investing.com. It's the top 5 things to know in the market on Tuesday. The first thing to know is China's vice premier confirmed to participate in trade talks. Sunday's tweets from U.S. President Donald Trump, which made waves on Monday, were still rippling through markets on Tuesday ahead of another round of high-level trade talks. China's Ministry of Commerce finally confirmed Tuesday that Vice Premier Liu He will attend talks in Washington on May 9th and 10th, offering some hope that the talks have not completely broken down. However, U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer and Trade Secretary Stephen Mnuchin insisted that China was not fulfilling commitments and that it plans to raise tariffs on Chinese imports from Friday will go ahead. China's Foreign Ministry said on Tuesday that tariffs won't resolve any of the problems in the ongoing trade dispute. The second thing to know today is global stocks are cautious and volatile and immersed in trade uncertainty. Global stocks still remain skittish on Tuesday amid concerns over the U.S.-China trade dialogue. Nerves remained on edge stateside with U.S. futures pointing to a lower open pre-open. Wall Street ended Monday in the red, but the fact that the Dow managed to pare losses by more than 300 points took some of the edge off the decline. Chinese stocks staged a timid recovery after the Shanghai Composite saw its worst rout in more than 3 years on Monday. Volume was, however, around 30% lower than the 1-month average, suggesting lack of conviction. Japan played catch-up in its first day of trading since a long holiday break, with the Nikkei 225 ending down 1.6%. European stocks adopted a cautious stance, particularly after a weak reading of factory orders in Germany, the Eurozone's largest economy. The Pan-European Stocks 50 traded down 0.5% by 5:31 a.m. Eastern. The third thing to know today, oil juggles trade worries. Iran conflict ahead of inventories. Oil prices were lower on Tuesday, but little changed for the week as investors balanced trade developments against heightened tensions in the Persian Gulf, while markets prepped for weekly data on U.S. crude inventories. Trump's threat of increased tariffs on Chinese imports put downward pressure on oil, reviving fears that a trade war will damp global growth and consequently oil demand. Balancing that, Axios quoted Israel's Channel 13 diplomatic correspondent Barak Ravid as saying that Israel has passed information to the U.S. about an alleged Iranian plot to attack U.S. interests in the Persian Gulf. The information, according to the report, was the reason behind the U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton's decision to send an aircraft carrier strike group and bombers to the area. Despite being up more than 30% so far this year, oil has recently been under pressure as data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration has shown one large stockpile build after the other during this past 6 weeks. Last week, U.S. inventories grew by nearly 10 million barrels, according to the EIA. The American Petroleum Institute will release its weekly data on U.S. crude stockpiles at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by official government figures on Wednesday. The fourth thing to know today is beaten down Lyft looks for earnings boost ahead of Uber IPO. Ride-sharing company Lyft will take the earnings spotlight as it reports after the close later Tuesday. On average, analysts are looking for a loss of $3.33 per share, according to forecasts compiled by Investing.com. Revenue is expected to come in at about $740 million. This is Lyft's first earnings report since its debut at the end of March. Since then, it's been hammered by the market, with shares down more than 22% since the first day of trading. The performance has cast a cloud over rival Uber's own stock market debut, due to take place on Friday, signaling that investors' enthusiasm for loss-making startups has its bounds. Uber is expected to price the offering on Thursday in what analysts forecast will result in the largest IPO since Alibaba in 2014 and the largest by an American company since Facebook in 2012. And the fifth thing to note today is political upheaval in Turkey drives the lira to a new crisis. The Turkish lira fell for an eight-month low after the country's election authorities annulled results for Istanbul's recent municipal election. The decision triggered immediate street protests in Turkey's largest city against the government of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, pushing the dollar as high as 6.1975 lira in early trading on Tuesday. And that's the highest since September, when rising dollar interest rates and a heavy foreign debt repayment schedule threatened to bring down the country's banking system. Economic hardship since last summer contributed to Erdogan's AK party losing control of Turkey's three biggest cities in elections in March. The central bank, which has kept interest rates high since last year's crisis, still hasn't been able to stop the outflow of foreign reserves. Our next story of the day is also from Investing.com. Beyond Meat momentum keeps going and shares pop midday. Plant-based meat substitute maker Beyond Meat continued its strong run since its IPO, jumping again midday. The stock climbed 8%, rising above $80 for the first time. The company priced its shares at $25 a share, and the stock soared more than 160% on its first day of trading. The stock received its first sell-side recommendation yesterday, with Bernstein initiating coverage with a buy rating and a price target of $81. Recent planned expansions in production capacity look set to facilitate rapid sales growth in 2019 and beyond, Bernstein Alexa Howard wrote, according to Bloomberg. The market for alternative meat could reach more than $40 billion if the category sees the same growth as plant-based beverages, Howard added. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use for today, May 7th, 2019. Your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli, Trade Smart, and have a great day.
The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in options trading education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free one-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's Live Advantage Group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions@theoptionsinsider.com.